soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Divorced Heroes, where we talk about divorce and the life after from a man's perspective. I am the divorced hero, and I'm here in the studio, like always, with my very good friend and fellow divorcer, the victorious one.
What's up, fellas, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? And I say ladies and gentlemen because I've been getting a lot of feedback from ladies, and they want to come on board, bro. They want to come on board.
We do have some female listeners that send us messages and let us know that they enjoy the show.
And I'm glad it's not coming off as sexist.
Yeah, that's true.
I keep getting that. So we're going to continue to do this because we're not only talking about a man's perspective, right? But we're not bashing nobody. We're just stating facts. It's science. And the women that listen are, they're relating to a lot of stuff, but they do. I got to feel they want to come on board, bro. That they want to talk their piece,
and that's fine. And we will. We'll have some women come up here. I want to get all walks of life. I want the women who is struggling on their own, and the guy walked away, and I want the woman who knowingly is taking the alimony, knowing that the guy can't afford it. I want everything, yes. Even men, the deadbeat fathers that walked away, and hear their side of the story, down to the father that's raising the kids on his own.
Yeah.
Completely on his own. I mean, we want to get everyone's perspective, and all this is about is to put information out there that can potentially help someone that's going through something like a divorce or a separation, a breakup, and then they're dealing with children and dealing with, all this.
Which leads us to today's episode.
Today's episode, how to tell your kids that the marriage is over. You're going to talk to them about divorce. And I know that after episode 2, we agreed that we wouldn't be drinking while we recorded, because I think we recorded episode 2 like 4 or 5 times. Because
there's just a lot of information, bro. It's not the drinking as much as there's so much information.
But I'm gonna take a shot because this one's gonna be rough, man.
I think anyone who's gone through a divorce and had to talk to their kids needs a shot. I don't drink personally, but I'm taking a spiritual shot. First of all, it's the hardest thing I've had to do in this whole divorce situation by far.
By far, it's nasty. It's hard. I think it's every parent's nightmare to have to sit there and tell your children that their world's about to change. If your child is, obviously, if he or she is a baby, 2, maybe 3 years old, they're not really going to fully understand. So you can kind of maneuver without having to sit them down and explain to them. But if your child is like 5, 6, 7 years old, 10, 13, 14, 16, and now they have a good understanding of what a marriage is and their family dynamic. And chances are they have kids in school whose parents are divorced, and they have to bounce back and forth. You'll hear a child say, well, Mondays and Fridays, I go to my dad's house, and then the rest of the days, or I forgot my backpack at dad's house, so I didn't turn in my home. So your children, by the time they're in the later stage of elementary, they've probably been around kids who have.
I was surprised how many kids my kids had. Let's go back. How many friends my kids had that were divorced?
Yeah,
they came from divorce homes. It seems to be the new popular thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah. So, they do get that at school, right? They get the backup from the kids that have been through it. But then again, kids don't know all the information, so they were misled a lot of times.
And we're going to talk about that. We'll touch up on that.
Yeah. Do you remember how bad it was for you?
I vividly remember. I think I had nightmares about having to sit down with my children, with my ex-wife, and tell them, hey, this is going to happen. My little one, she was very, very little, 3 years old. I think she was about 3, so she didn't understand. But my older one was about 6, and she had more of an understanding of what was about to happen, and she started crying.
Yeah.
She broke down. She, typical questions like, why? I don't understand. Why can't you live here anymore? Where are we going to go? What's going to happen? Where are you going? And it's just, they don't understand. They don't have the capability. Number one, they don't have the capability to really express themselves to the full capacity. So they're gonna cry.
Yeah.
They're scared.
They're gonna go to the emotions that they know.
So we're gonna touch up on that. How do you tell your kids? The first thing is, you, as much as you and your spouse, your soon to be ex spouse, might be at odds and might be disagreeing and hating each other, for whatever cause it is. You need to get on the same page. Put your egos and emotions to the side, and let her know, hey, how are we going to tell our children? Let's get on the same page. We need the same story. We can't sit there and say, well, if your dad had, this, or hadn't done this, or done more of this, maybe, like, you don't want to do that. At the end of the day, this is about your children and how you're going to affect your children. You don't want to scar them. You don't want to start putting blame in front of the children. Like, come on, guys. If you really love your children, you put everything aside. You think about their long-term being and their long-term health
and the effects of it,
and the effect it's going to have. I mean, you yourself, you're full of emotions. Now just imagine what's going to be with your children when they had nothing to do with it. They didn't even ask to be born. They didn't sign up and say, hey, I want to be a part of this family.
Yeah.
Now you made the decision to marry said person. Your actions, along with her actions, contributed to where you guys are at right now.
Right.
But they're totally innocent, right? So the first thing you want to do, fellas, is speak to your spouse. I'm getting hot.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you've been working out?
A little bit.
That's right. So, okay, talk to your spouse, right? Get on the same page. I think I tried that, bro, on my end. I think I really tried. Unfortunately for me, like I mentioned in the past few episodes, my ex-partner was already doing her thing, like months before that, right? So the girls were already seeing their mom going back and forth and doing it. So they had questions already, but their mom was being, how can I say it? Gaslighting them?
Kind of ignoring them.
Oh, no, I wasn't out with my friends. What are you talking about? I just want to go do this. So they were already on their P's and Q's. Like, So when we finally decided we're going to talk to the girls, we did say, hey, you know what? We're going to talk to them and we're going to keep it very civil, chill. I'm not going to call you names. You're not going to call me names. We're just going to tell them, hey, this is what's going to happen. And we both went in with those intentions, right?
Right.
So as soon as we started talking, and she saw my daughters question her. And I say question her because they
had seen it already.
Yeah, they didn't see dad take off with his homies or not. No, well, why are you doing this and why are you doing? She automatically flipped it on me. Well, it's because your dad didn't show me affection. It's because your dad didn't. Bro, she had a list of things, and my kids were backing me up. I look. I recorded it because I wanted to have in my little way. I wanted to have like backup, right?
Right.
In court. Hey, look, my kids felt this way in the month. And the other day I was deleting a bunch of media on my phone, right? And just videos and stuff. And that one came up, and I actually I started playing it. It was like a 30-minute video.
Yeah.
Bro, I went 5 minutes and I started tearing up and
it took you back.
I deleted it.
Yeah, it took you back.
These kids were asking what they could do to fix it.
And that's the thing, is they think that it's upon them now to try to fix this, right? Yes. They say, well, maybe we can do something to fix this. So that this is why, guys, you have to sit down with your ex or soon to be ex-spouse and say, hey, let them know that it's not their fault, that we still love them. They had nothing to do with this decision. This is between, two grown people that fell out of love. That can no longer work things out, decided that the best thing for both of them is to go their separate ways with the full intention of still raising these children together, right?
Keep in mind, guys, these are all, I mean, this is just advice. And we're not going to say it's going to go that way.
That's true.
I mean, this is how we're saying you should try to do it this way because, my way didn't work. I wish it would have worked, but that doesn't mean it's going to go that way. So these are just for you guys to write down and try them, hopefully it goes that way.
Right. You want to choose a comfortable space where you're going to have this talk, preferably their room, a family room, something that they're very comfortable in. And
don't do it in the park or at the restaurant where you think it's going to be less drama or less damage. Keep it in house.
right, because your child's it's gonna get emotional.
Very.
And you want your child to be able to express themselves. You don't want them to say, "Hey, don't cry. People are looking at us."
Yeah.
Let them express. Hug, kiss. You cannot show sadness. You yourself, and this is gonna be so difficult, fellas, because you're putting yourself in your children's position, and you're understanding how hurt your child is right now.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it other than just hug. But you have to try very hard to be strong because your child is looking at you, and if he sees you hurt, then he knows it's a bad situation, which it is. But we want to put up a front.
Yeah, they're looking at you to see which direction they have to go to.
Exactly.
And yeah, as hard as it's going to be for you as a man, you got to really suck it up, buttercup, and just for that moment. As soon as you're done or whatever, go in the bathroom, go scream, go for a drive, go let it all out. And it's important to let it out. We're not saying keep it in by no means at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, I chose their room, the girls' room. I was sitting on the floor with them, and we as much as I planned it, bro, and planned it the way we have written down notes, it didn't go that way. I tried it, it didn't go that way. Mom was super. Just going against everything else but herself. She didn't take responsibility. She didn't even try to defuse the situation.
Right.
She had my daughters trying to figure out how they could fix our marriage. And instead of saying, no, it's not your problem. This is not for you. This is us.
Yeah.
Well, tell your dad. Well, make your dad promise that. Oh, God, I still remember that, bro. It's like,
yeah, that's
how do you
horrible.
expect
That's very...
a 9 and a 10-year-old to dictate which way a marriage is going to go, or a divorce, or a split, or whatever it is, So, guys, but it's very important. Pick just a comfortable setting. Make sure that the kids are going to be comfortable as much as possible because it's a very uncomfortable situation.
It sucks. Guys, it sucks more than you could imagine.
Yeah, this was definitely, like I said, the hardest part of the divorce was that I can lose my property, I can lose the child support, I can lose all that part right there, bro. I don't wish it on my enemy.
Yeah, that
I don't.
You're absolutely 100% on that one. That's something I don't want to wish on anyone to have that talk with your children. But it's done. It's gonna happen. The inevitable is gonna happen. You don't want to keep them in the dark.
You have to go through that storm.
You have to do it. You don't want to just one day your child wakes up to go to school and you're not there anymore, and you didn't come back after dinner. You're gonna do more harm than good. So just sit them down, reassure that you love them, that you both love them, that they had nothing to do with this decision. It wasn't about them. It's just two grown people who no longer can live together, who have lost their passion for each other or the love, all that stuff, right?
But guys, if you both can't do it, make sure you do it.
Exactly.
Right? If the spouse can't be on board with all this, reinforcement and positive reinforcement and try to keep things as amicable as possible, you guys have to step it up, which will lead us to our next one which you have to maintain the same habits. You got to keep things as familiar with your kids as possible because they're walking into uncharted territory now.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Sundays at the swap meet, right? And I mean, it could be just go get a raspado at the swap meet, or it could go be my kids was into lowriders at the time, little diecast cars.
Yeah.
We had a habit of buying a new model every
Sunday.
Every Sunday, things like that. The oldest was into going to the library and going to what's that bookstore? This one right here.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Nobles. Try to keep that going because they're in a world right now that everything just flipped upside down. They're in what's that show?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Their world just flipped upside down, guys. Yeah. So the more you can keep it familiar, the better. Because right now, just like we said, put yourself in their shoes. If you're going through it as a full-blown peludo man,
adult,
yeah, con pelos in your armpits, and can you just imagine a kid who hasn't even lived a quarter of your life? So yes, keep things familiar. What would you say that's a good thing to keep as far as habits?
All the habits, everything that you did with your children. Let's say like you just mentioned, on Sundays you would do your thing. On Fridays, let's say it's movie Friday, you go to the movie theater, or you go to get ice cream on certain days, and you go for bike rides, and that's something that you guys did all the time, and keep doing it. Keep doing it. You want to keep a normal base for your child while they're transitioning to this new life that's
Yes.
about to hit them, where they're going to go 50-50 or 70-30 or whatever it is
Or
that
95.5. And that's not a radio station, guys. That's my custody time.
yeah, whatever that transition is coming, and you want to maintain a normal base for as long as you can, so that they can ease into it. You have to let them know, hey, you're going to be able to see mom and dad as much as you want. We're going to be available for you. You can call me whenever you want. And if you're lucky, fellas, and it's amicable between you and the ex, that'd be awesome if you can just for no reason stop by after work one day and say, hey, I just came to give you a hug and tell you I love you, I'm here for you.
That would be the perfect scenario, bro.
That would be the perfect scenario.
Like, for example, yesterday I was having a barbecue, right? And I know my kids love carne asada. They love it, especially my little one. And I'm like, man, I wish they were here. Even if they just came by, did a drive-by pickup, So I sent them a message. Hey, you guys feel more than welcome to come by. And they were excited. Oh, yeah, let me ask mom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, mom shot them down, right? And they answered me all, like, depressing. Oh, no.
Mom said no.
She said no. And that hurts, bro, because, like, fuck, in a perfect world, dog, in a perfect world, we wouldn't be divorced, right?
Right.
But in a perfect world, it would be amicable because we're two adults, bro. That we understand, like, okay, we lost love. We're no longer feeling the same way. All right, cool. But what does that have to do with the kids?
What does it have to do with the children, right?
And unfortunately, a lot of spouses use the kids as ammunition, and it sucks.
And you know what? We don't bash here, but if you are a man or a woman that uses your children to hurt the other half of the relationship, God has a special place for you, where you get pineapples on the hour by Hitler up the yin yang. That is not cool, man.
Unless you're into that, then you don't get no pineapples. No, but yeah, I agree. It's a crime, bro. It should be a crime.
It should be a crime.
I mean, they talk about alienation so much, right? Of the kids, but the court doesn't do anything about it. It's very rare. I've seen some examples of where the judge will be like, you know what, you kept the kid away from them for X amount of days. The dad will get them for X amount of days, not consistently.
Right.
And he even put the mom in prison or in jail for those amount of days.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
That's a rare case. Most of the time, judges like, well, what did you do for the mom not to let you see them?
Yeah.
And that's more reality than anything.
Yeah, it's always the system is not for us. If you're really lucky and you got a really expensive lawyer, you might get a break. But for the most part, I keep hearing these horror stories.
It's just horrible. If you guys we said it before. If you guys to stay out of court,
if you have to play the game, guys,
the way to play the part. Be the pendejo for. Let them think you're just a dummy until you get over this. Because man,
so watch your kids for depression, guys. After you guys. Let them know that things are going to change and divorce is coming. Watch your kids for depression. If depression hits all ages, right? If their habits start changing, if you see them sleeping a lot, that's a clear indication that they might slipped into a depression. And if you're going through it, just imagine what they're going through it, right? So seek therapy for them. There's a lot of good therapists out there that work with children who are going through these types of mishaps or life-changing events. Seek therapy for them. Get them involved in something, right? Whether it is sports, art, anything that they love, that that they're good at or they have an interest in. Even if you have to do it with them.
Yeah,
it's not just about you, fellas. I know you're going to go through your ups and downs, but now you have someone that's going to be relying on you too to get them out of this funk. seek sports. My children, they got deep into sports, and that saved them. That
music,
got them. Music
arts,
is awesome. Arts,
martial arts,
martial arts, yes.
But real quick on depression, that's another. See, I feel like everything's touching on me, but it's not just me, bro. It's
you're just one of thousands and thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands.
So my kid would come home and say she was tired. It wasn't tired. It was her falling asleep to forget the drama that was going on. So she would sleep for hours.
That's depression.
Wake up, eat, take a shower, go back to sleep for the night. And Mexican families, my mom was like, "Oh, es que está débil, no come," she's not eating, she's anemic, whatever. No, dude, it's depression.
It's depression.
And these kids don't know how to express it. So you have to be vigilant. You have to listen to what they're hearing. Even music. Right. Music will give you a big indication of how they're feeling. Look at their patterns. If they were always active and now they just go straight to the room and just, even laying in their bed, that's depression. If they no longer have my kid was the funniest kid. I called her Little Joe Pesci because she was always joking around, without the curse words. That went away. So parents, you guys know your kids, and you're going to notice like, hey, whoa, she changed. It's depression. And it's up to you to get them out of it because no one else is going to do it.
Seek help, fellas.
And you can't depend on the mom to do it. Seek help. Seek professional help, too. I can't stress it enough. Growing up, we were so against therapists and counselors.
Because we didn't know any better.
Honestly, when I was at school and they wanted to put me in counseling for my mom was like, no, for what? Like, she thought she was going to get in trouble.
Right.
Right? And that's not the case. But
that's ignorance. Yeah.
It's ignorance. So please, guys, men, women, whoever is listening right now, really check on your kids because depression's real. And as far as sports, my kids love art. They love drama. They love acting. Unfortunately, they don't like sports, but they do like, so put on little plays, bro. Watch movies together. Dissect the film. What do you think the character was thinking about? There's so many things you can do. So many.
There is, and you have to keep them busy. Keep that little mind of theirs working because, depression is real, right? Martial arts is a great avenue.
Told me martial arts was really
that got my daughter out of right? Yes, that martial arts got my oldest daughter out of the funk. Like I said, my little one might have been too little to really capture everything that was going on. My poor baby, but my oldest, she was more self-aware of things that were changing, and I saw her slip into a little depression, or big depression, I should say. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, right? But we got her. Fortunately for me, her mother and I were trying to be amicable, and we got her therapy, and then we introduced her into martial arts, and that's where she really became her own little personality again. She started thriving in it, and she started like really looking forward to it, and I saw her excited again for the very first time, and her confidence started coming back up, and it just became a beautiful thing to see her. Well, to this day, both of them are very much involved in martial arts. So, guys, watch out for them,
and they can kick ass on,
and they can kick some.
No means no, homie. Yeah. So, and I think finally, bro, let their teachers know.
Let people around them know. Hey, look, this is what's going on. Because
I did that. I reached out to their teachers because this happened when they were in elementary, and the good teachers noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Mr. I'm gonna give you my last name second. But yeah, they're like,
Mr. Victorious.
Mr. Victorious. Yes, I've noticed she's been like this, and she's usually bubbly, and now she's very quiet. She doesn't want to do recess. Like that's a big indicator for especially elementary, right? Kids, recess, dodgeball, foosball, kickball, tetherball. She didn't want to do it.
Right.
And the teacher was just gonna reach out to me. She's like, I'm glad you reached out to me first. But get teachers involved. And now as junior high and high school and all that, you get the counselors involved, right? Because that's what they're there for. And those have been my key elements right there where I can go to them and they'll tell me, you know what, I've seen her on campus and she's doing good, or she's not doing good. I see her just sitting down to herself.
Yeah.
So kids aren't going to tell you guys. The kids are not going to tell you, "Hey, Dad, I'm depressed." Hey, Dad, I'm
they
sad.
Probably don't even. They don't even know. They're children. They what do they have? 5, 6, 7 years in this world.
They don't even look at it as depressed. It's emo. But yeah, dude, reach out to the teachers. I mean, the good ones will always be very much helpful,
Yeah.
and the ones that are just there for a paycheck,
Well,
whatever.
I mean, you have those in every industry.
Yeah, that's for everything.
You know, I just show up to my work for the
Right.
paycheck. Show them a lot of love.
That's the main one.
A lot of compassion, guys. You're gonna have to tone, men, especially men that are a little tough on their children, because you're trying to, raise that little boy, or you're trying to make your little girl a tough girl. You're gonna have to tone it down.
I think the most helpful advice Divorce Hero gave me was kids aren't too smart.
For lack of better words, kids are dumb. Okay, and I don't mean that
in a bad way.
In a bad way.
Like we talked about, there's a reason they have to be taught not to go into the stranger's van or not to take candy from strangers.
Exactly.
So on and so on. So I was being very hard on my kids because I'm like, oh my God, there's no loyalty. How could they? Bro, kids are dumb and they don't understand what loyalty is. They for the most part, they're very influential.
They're very easily manipulated.
Yes.
Very easily manipulated. As smart as a child is, you can't compare a child's 10 years in this world to a grown person.
Yeah.
You just can't. Children are very innocent. They tend to believe anything that they're being told. Why would this person lie to me? Why would this person tell me information that's wrong, or tell me to hate this person if it wasn't true?
Right.
Like they're gonna grow up to be brilliant minds and wise and geniuses. Yeah, that's given. I'm saying at this age, parents, give some slack to your children. If you see that your children, and this is another show, but we'll touch up on it here. If your ex-spouse is feeding your children some bad information, and you're seeing that your children are not looking at you and saying, well, mom said this, or dad said that you did this, like, don't take it out on them, guys. Don't take it to heart. That's number one. Don't take it to heart, because your children are being manipulated.
And this is the reason we started the show, bro. Honestly, because Divorce Hero gave me this information. I was that other parent, and I was taking it to heart, and I was, upset and felt betrayed and all this, right? And it took him to tell me those things, right? That advice, like, bro, don't take it to heart. They don't know any better. And honestly, after hearing him say that, that's when I think we got really serious about this talk show right here, this platform, because if it helped me out in my, at my age, to understand, like, wow, I thought I knew it all.
Right.
You just gave me a new insight or outlook.
It's a new perspective, right?
Perspective on this. Who else needs to hear this? So,
right, like I said, it's just two guys, but there's tens, hundreds of thousands of people out there who have gone or are going through something that we're going through or we went through.
And understand, guys, this episode was hard for us.
It's very. I think I've taken like 5 shots since we hit record.
It just took us to a place that I wanted to forget. Right, like I said, I heard that audio I had on my phone and I deleted it because I didn't want to hear the 30 minutes of my kids trying to fix my marriage and why, and what if dad does this and you do that, and they're coming up with a plan on how we should continue to be married.
Right.
It was horrible, bro. Horrible to see a 10-year-old kid trying to do this. So please give your kids the slack they need, give them the love they need, understand them, give them their space, but also watch out for them, watch them, be on top of them. It's just it's a thin line you have to like really hover over, because you can't give them too much space, but you have to give them enough. If you give them too much, they'll just get out of control. If you don't give them enough, it just goes the other way.
Right.
But
I didn't want to do this
he did
show.
I had to really talk him into this one, but I think it's important. I think a lot of people are going to understand more about how to talk to your kids, or even if you've been through it, you're gonna get a new outlook on it. Like, wow,
it's important.
This is what happened.
It's important.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's important to have this conversation with your children. It is. They deserve it. Their life is about to change, and they deserve to know that it's gonna change, and that they have the support from both parents, and that it's not their fault, and they're still very much loved, and they're gonna be okay.
So
with that being said, fellas,
please send your questions. We're not getting enough questions, guys. Be more, make sure you interact with us more, because I know you guys have questions. I have questions. So make sure you leave those comments. You like, subscribe, share it to anyone you think might need it. And as always, Divorce Hero says,
I promise you one thing: there is light at the end of the tunnel, and this will be over. Thank you guys very much for listening, and see you next time.